The following podcast contains strong language and ridiculous cartoon scenarios conjured up by two self-proclaimed comedy wizards. Between you and me, they're more like Saturday morning court jesters fueled by sugary cereal. But either way, the opinions expressed and presented are mere musings, so please humor their well-intentioned hijinks with a laugh and not by taking anything they say seriously. Unless, of course, you want to pay them to say something else. You could always use a new pair of shoes.
Hello, everybody. I'm Brent.
I'm Matt.
Welcome to Welcome to ReviewParty.com. It's the only podcast that reviews reviews. I know some of you were listening out for that one. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing good now that I heard that.
Yeah, I know you were unsettled. You were unsettled that I showed some creative liberty last week. I didn't include that.
Here's the thing. I put you in a tiny box of my creation, and I just want you to exist in that box. And when you ceased to exist in that box, I got scared. I wasn't sure you'd ever come back.
That's frightening. That is very frightening. Almost as frightening as this thing I have a first review for. Maybe this is a weird opener, but I don't know. I figure I'll start a little different.
Last week was pretty weird, so
yeah.
Please.
This is a review for the Andy Griffith Show, Season 6.
Good season. Good season.
Are you a fan of the Andy Griffith Show?
You can find me in Mayberry on any given Sunday. Down there hanging out with Aunt B.
Perfect, because I know so very little about it.
Oh, I'm no encyclopedia. But yeah, I watched me some Andy Griffith Show. I'll whistle along. I'm
willing to bet I've never seen a full episode.
Andy! Oh, so many good characters.
Which is sort of why I included this. It's a lovely little window into that world that I know so little about, and I think it's fun and wholesome from that perspective.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is a review from Amazon. It is by Steve Denton, and Steve titles it "Barney is Sorely Missed This Season." Season 6 was sadly the first one without Barney Fife on it, except for 2 guest appearances. I felt Andy's character seemed more than a little lost without Barney, especially at the start of the first season. A replacement deputy filled in, and then also disappeared. Jack Burns did well as the new deputy, but then he was gone too. The void left by Barney was ably filled by other cast members, notably Goober, receiving a lot of screen time. I gave this season only 4 stars because Barney was such an important character in the show, and his absence was very noticeable. But what made his absence stranger was that no explanation was given for it until his guest appearance. That seemed unfair to Barney. The season seemed to find its footing right after Barney's appearances, and the second half of the season seemed much better than the first. Although it might not be quite as good as the first 5 Barney seasons, it's still an entertaining show, and Andy is one of TV's finer straight men to all the crazy characters in the show. 4 stars.
For a moment, I thought the reviewer meant straight men. Like, you know, if they're watching the Andy Griffith Show, chances are they're maybe a bit conservative. Like, that's a good television straight man. I like.
Now, as far as straight men on TV, which I know there is only straight men, but that is one of the best.
But I agree wholeheartedly. You take Don Knotts out of anything that Don Knotts has once been in, it's lost its heartbeat.
Right. Oh, jeez. The odds are coming. And now they cease.
It's because Don Knotts isn't here.
Oh. Oh. Is that your Don Knotts? That's about as far as my Don Knotts impression goes, too. Oh.
Don Knotts was featured on maybe 2 Scooby-Doo episodes, but he sticks out in my mind so much because I've seen those 2 and I'm like, oh, I can just hear Scooby saying, Don Knotts? That's Don Knotts. And Shaggy.
Scooby and Shaggy are big fans of Don Knotts.
Come on. I can't even do a good impersonation because I'm just going to laugh so much.
Come on, Scoob. We got to hang out with Don Knotts. That's not very good either. Like Scoob.
I can do a pretty
good. We got to hang out with Don Knotts.
Because Casey Kasem, the radio guy, you just do a Casey Kasem and then you make him a bit more hippie-ish.
Yeah, you give Casey Kasem some recreational drug use, and then he becomes Shaggy.
I just have the giggles. I can't do it now.
You can't do it. And that's what the old Bandy Griffith Show is all about.
That's what I have to say about any season with no Don Knotts. Can't do it.
Can't do it.
Can't do it.
Can't do it. I just think it's lovely that someone would write such an extent. They really wanted to let you know. This review was for the other Andy Griffith Show fans,
For the people who are catching up, They don't know Barney Fife isn't going to be there.
Right.
They don't know they're not going to get Don Knotts' facial reactions just like, as he's hit by realization. This on a podcast, this isn't going to be great, but if you know Don Knotts, he's just seen something that shocks him, and
I think that's the only face he can make. His eyes are just in a constant state of surprise.
And his gun is drooping down, and his head's tilted to this. Are
there any new fans of the Andy Griffith Show these days, you think? Think anyone's going back? You had to watch the Andy Griffith Show to like the Andy Griffith Show.
I think so. I caught it on TV Land a lot. Andy's a pretty darn good actor. He was in movies as well. But, yeah, it's not like there's a revival of Andy Griffith fans like the Golden Girls. The Golden Girls are a thing again. Even though we know less than we should about them. Golden Girls are having a moment. There's socks of them. I guarantee there's no novelty socks of, people like Barney Fife, but it's just my uncle who has a Barney Fife sign in his garage, I'm sure still. There's no one our age, I assume, with a Barney Fife sign hanging on the garage door.
So the other thing from reading the other reviews, I found out this is the first season in color.
Takes away the magic a bit. I want to see Opie walking barefoot down to the fishing hole. Not in color.
But Don Knotts leaves, color added to show. Coincidence? I think not. I think this man, his power, his energy, he definitely has some sort of color absorbing ability.
The color.
Yeah, he sort of eats the sunshine and the color from a room. And then that's how he makes comedy.
Whatever he's doing, it works.
Where I enter a room and all donuts and wild cherry Pepsis are absorbed and made into comedy. He's an otherworldly color-sucking being, I think, is the only explanation here.
That's why the void that is left by him is immediately filled by color.
Right. It's the only thing they could do. Well, he's gone, but the color is back. I don't know. Maybe
we'll film.
Might as well go for it.
They gave it a good try.
It's got Aunt B.
Yeah, you got Goober. You got
a guy named Goober.
Goober and Gomer Pyle. Yeah.
Oh, Gomer Pyle is from the Andy Griffith Show?
Yeah, that was a spinoff.
Oh, he's a real jackass, right? Real
I think
dumbass.
both the Pyle brothers were kind of goofs. But I think one joined the Marines, maybe, or the Army.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that much about these vintage television shows.
Yeah, you don't have the full backstory, the full lore, the Andy Griffith lore. You didn't read the Silmarillion of the Andy Griffith Show.
No, I have not watched TV Land that much.
You didn't watch the the Peter Jackson remakes of the Andy Griffith Show.
I can't wait.
With hours of extra content.
As long as we're looking back in time, we've got some Ronnie Howard on the brain. I'm picturing Happy Days a little bit. I have a Google Maps review for Dino's Drive-In. This is down in Winter Haven, Florida. Winter Haven because it's winter. And I was like, I'm going to... Let's go someplace winter-oriented. Winter Haven, Florida.
We could use a haven from the winter we are currently experiencing.
We were about to get some cold and some snow around here. Anyway, Brandy Dennis writes of Dino's Drive-In, I live in Lakeland, but my father is in a nursing home in Winter Haven. He called and wanted livers. Our normal place is in Kathleen. So I shot through here. I ordered his and gizzards for me. The gizzards were the toughest I have ever gotten. When I called to tell them, not being able to turn around and go back, they informed me that their policy is that without the food being returned, they do not do refunds. Okay. Question. You gonna resell them to someone else, or do what I did and throw them away? Which is also where my father's livers ended up. My server was awesome, loved her, thanks so much for great outdoor service. Inside, not so much. 2 stars.
Those inside workers.
No good.
No, this guy should just stop ordering the worst parts of the animal.
This is a thing in the South, though, I think. People are about that kind of food.
I've had liver. I've had gizzard. Not the worst shit I've ever had. Better than any other part of the animal? No. That's not even close.
That's why they fry them.
That's what you use them for, the broth. Use them for a broth.
Yeah, I've had good duck liver, but it was cold. It wasn't fried. Fried liver? No, thanks. Fried gizzard? Definitely not.
No, unless you're some sort of gizzard wizard who wants to got their gizzard from a lizard gizzard.
Lizard gizzard.
Lizard gizzard. The wizard's lizard gizzard. That's like on a witch's brew. That's one of the ingredients.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to make a good witch's brew, you need a wizard's lizard gizzard. That's rare. There's not many wizards around, let alone wizards with pet lizards.
Lizards are finicky.
And then you got to get the gizzard.
That's why they're finicky.
You're trying to take their gizzard. I'd be finicky too if you're trying to take my gizzard.
Hey. I just got this one.
This is a brand new gizzard. I just had it installed.
Isn't that the way it goes?
The lizard gizzards aren't cheap. They're rare. Then the wizard comes in and oh boy. That's when the shenanigans really start.
Oh, shenanigans. That's what this whole review is.
Picture one long shenanigan.
20 years from now, is that reasonable to think of when your parents might be retirement home age, nursing home age?
Sure.
You get a call from your old man. He says nothing but, I want liver.
You gotta find me some liver, kid.
You're in the car, the door's shut. You're peeling out of there.
You are on the hook for some goddamn gizzard.
The old man wants gizzards. You get him gizzards.
Liver. You're on the hook for some liver, some gizzards. You're on the hook for some what else? What else are some weird animal parts? People for some hooves, some butthole,
neck, phalanges,
for some head cheese,
jowls,
for some jowls,
fish cheek,
for some tail.
Cheek.
We want some oxtail. Now these are all over the place on the realm of deliciousness, but all are strange. And all a bit of a, I don't know. I feel like it's a bit of a rude request to request someone that gets you such a rare cut of beef. Uh-huh. You can't stop at the local grocery store and necessarily find those things.
Where's your gizzard section, please?
A lot of butchers and meat stores might have some.
They probably do, yeah. But the standard,
you got to ask somebody. You got to go through a whole thing. You might have to call ahead.
Right now, for sure, you can't just pull through Dino's driving.
Yeah, and it sounds like they've been driving several hours.
I think the dad, he just wants to be the coolest guy in the nursing home. Everyone else is eating pudding and rice, and he's got a big steaming, awful styrofoam container of gizzards and livers.
Yeah, my dad is gumming down some liver. It's built to last. Is that why old people like liver? They can really just gum it up?
Oh, I don't know.
Just get gummy on that son of a gun?
Awful sounds.
Great. That's the name of a Beach Boys album, isn't it? Liver Sounds?
Yeah. Do 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 do.
Yeah, they just... Ugh. Ugh, okay.
Yeah,
Now
take us
I'm
away
out
from Florida.
Yeah, now I'm out of the bit, too. Now the reality has hit me. I'll take us as far away from Florida as possible, or maybe as close, and as close to home as possible. Because I have a review for Velveeta Original Microwavable Shells and Cheese Cups.
Dig it.
Just also in the title, for the full Amazon title, single serving cups with delicious Velveeta cheese sauce, convenient and ready in 3.5 minutes. That's what the product's called.
You gotta inform the people.
Yeah, no subline though. That's the title. This review is written by Marlene F. Jones. That's right, Marlene fucking Jones. Titles her review: Noodles do not get soft. She writes, "You must improvise. If you follow the directions, the noodles are still hard after boiling, even twice as long as specified. I would never feed these hard noodles to children. I boiled the water and cooked 3 packs of noodles for 9 minutes, then added the 3 cheese sauce packs, a little bit of butter, and 2 teaspoons. I guess that's teaspoons? Tablespoons?
Oh, okay. But yeah, it's probably tablespoons.
Yeah, 2 tablespoons of milk, added some tuna, and made a casserole dish in the oven and fed a family of 4. The cheese is very good. 1 star.
What?
She just took 3 instant Velveetas and made it into 1 regular Velveeta. Someone's got to tell her about the stovetop stuff, the classic. With that brick.
Like shells and gold.
You ever leave a Velveeta brick in the fridge for too long?
Yes.
And it turns into an actual brick?
You cut enough, you might get to something.
Yeah, you might get to like a gooey core.
A cubic square inside that's still good. And by good, I mean it's like clay, and you're like, oh, it kind of smells like cheese.
The concrete ass cheese.
Ugh. It's not for me. I'm not seeking Velveeta out anytime soon.
So you would never feed these noodles to children, hard or soft, dente or otherwise.
Improvise. I take my brick of Velveeta and I throw it through a window. I just steal whatever's inside that place.
Yeah, I steal some good mac and cheese. Steal that blue box.
Blue box craft, yeah. Get some Annie's. Get anything.
Velveeta, Matt said he's not putting you on blast. Listen, it sounds to me like he's putting you on blast, Velveeta.
Yeah, don't call me anymore. I'm gonna tell all my friends about you that you're just no good.
Velveeta always boasts it's made with real cheese. That shit's not real cheese that they put in there.
You shouldn't have to say that. If
right, you should. Who are you telling that? Us or you? You telling yourself that, Velveeta?
Very real cheese. Can't you tell? My whole family is made of cheese.
Did you know there's a bacon-flavored Velveeta box?
Oh, this is information I didn't need to know.
I guess it comes with little bacon bits and broccoli bits.
I just got the chills.
So you kind of agree with this review. Well, they spruced it up.
Tuna casserole.
They made it into a tuna casserole with a little butter and 2 tablespoons of milk.
Tuna casserole is a big maybe.
Yeah, you roll up to the potluck. Tuna casserole's on the table. You're not sure about what's going to happen.
No.
You're not sure what happens next.
Gingerly.
Have you ever had a fantastic... What makes a fantastic tuna casserole to you?
Doesn't taste too fishy. Like that tuna needs to be just right. Make sure you drain it well enough.
You gotta drain the tuna first.
And not too salty. Over-salting, that's a problem. If it's too rich, too buttery, oily, that's a problem. You gotta get a lot of things right.
You're saying there's a lot of potholes to be avoided in making a good tuna casserole.
Yeah, you're cruising down the main drag. It could be a bumpy ride.
There's a lot of potholes.
You gotta swerve, you gotta weave.
Oh, there's one other. Let me quick do one other Velveeta cheese review before we get out of here. Let's see if I can find it quickly. It made me laugh.
Velveeta Repeata.
This is a new segment, mid-show segment, the Velveeta Repeata. Yeah, so this other review is by Quinn. They write, tastes very good, price is good, very easy to prepare and very tasty. I took advantage of a sale price, 30% off, so the price was great. I usually add a little Parmesan cheese or black and cayenne pepper to make the taste more interesting. It's very nice to have on hand. The sauce is creamier and milder than Kraft. The tiny shells are a pleasant change from the typical tiny curved hollow noodles usually found in quick prep mac and cheese. 5 stars.
Except when those shells are like paste, it's like your tongue gets stuck there like a little mollusk or something, just fused to your tongue like a barnacle. Ugh! I do like putting black pepper on my mac and cheese. This is good. I learned that at the Olive Garden.
It makes it more interesting.
This tastes more interesting.
Yeah, man. Hey, try this out. Your buddy put some black pepper on your mac and cheese. Take one bite. Interesting.
Here you go, buddy. This is marijuana. Interesting. My eyes have been opened to a whole new world of flavor.
Black pepper on mac and cheese, similar to marijuana. You heard it here first.
Just
legalize black pepper on mac and cheese. No, it's legal in a lot of states already. Let's bring black pepper on mac and cheese to Wisconsin. Let's bring it to Idaho. I don't know what other states.
Let's bring it to Iowa, because the things you're saying, you're having a call for freedom right now, and in America, we're all trying to have a good call for freedom. And I've got some reviews that I had the clarity of mind to capture after recent events. I have some Apple App Store reviews for a certain application called Parler.
Oh, okay. Topical. We're about to get politicalparty.com.
Political party, unaffiliated, but leaning to the left.
Depends on which of us you ask.
It depends on which side you're standing on.
I can get a real good Michael Jackson backwards lean into my left side, if you know what I mean.
I love it. This is too perfect. User Iowa Corn titles their review, "Most don't like change." Twitter is comfortable to most that use it, and it's like learning to driving to work and home. That was verbatim. I gotta do it. You know how to navigate. People don't like change, so going somewhere else isn't popular. But when it comes to freedom of speech, many are forced to look elsewhere. That's where Parler comes into play. So if your circle is into recipes, you're pretty safe. And I want to stop right now and say that. So if your is YOU''RE circle is into recipes, your YOUR pretty safe. You got them both wrong. But, Iowa Corn says, but if you are into politics, medical, racism, bigotry, government issues, you will be more free to express yourself without being banned like Twitter. Parler supports your freedom of speech. They support the First Amendment. Many countries don't allow freedom of speech. If your subject of speech has been banned, bring it to Parler. 5 stars. You got anything to say about that other than a silent shake of the head?
I'm smiling. This guy sounds delighted.
Let me ask you.
He gets to discuss his racism and bigotry, and no one bothers him.
Some folks are into racism.
Some of them. I happen to know a few. For better or for worse, I would say for worse.
Yeah, let me just take a pause. Here's a PSA to remind everyone what the First Amendment actually says. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. So the First Amendment is saying the government can't tell you what to say. It's not saying some application can't. This is like if you wanted to protest something at Disney World. Disney World can say, this is a private place. You're allowed to protest, but we don't want you to do it here.
And I think as long as we're soapboxing about this, I feel like we're both very passionate about the First Amendment and very easy.
Pro-First Amendment, yeah.
Pro-First Amendment, and both very quick to denounce any dumbasses that don't really understand what that means, which is most people that talk about the First Amendment these days. For an example, Trump getting kicked off Twitter was not impeding anyone's First Amendment. Twitter is not where did you practice the First Amendment before Twitter? Was there no free speech before Twitter? So anyway, him getting kicked off of Twitter was not someone's First Amendment rights being impeded. It was the drunk guy getting kicked out of the 24-hour McDonald's because he couldn't stop pissing on everything. McDonald's has that right. They can kick out whoever they want, whenever they want, for whatever reason they want. They're a private business. Twitter can do the same.
Yeah. That was awesome. I do have one more review. I just want to say, we're not terrible people. When we laugh during this one, we might seem like terrible people.
Oh, now I'm excited.
This one, like, we always try to punch up. This one is just, it's like parody. Voiceover user titles their review, "This app excludes iPhone users who are blind." Now, why would an app like Parler exclude any body of people, you might ask? Anyway, voiceover user writes, "When signing up for an account on this application, the final screen asks you to enter a CAPTCHA. I use an iPhone and the built-in screen reader, VoiceOver, to access applications. I could not find a way to receive an audio version of the thing that I was supposed to enter. As a result, I could not complete my account sign-up, which is why I am giving this app 0 stars. There are other accessibility issues with the sign-up process as well. The first screen asks me my favorite color, but there is no way for me to know what colors are being displayed. Although one hears the word check when selecting the checkboxes associated with the documents one must agree to, this only happens when you tap the button. The button itself is unlabeled. The documents you can click on in order to read them do not appear as links that you can click. You can double tap them and they open, but it is not obvious that the items can be selected from the viewpoint of a blind user. 3 stars.
3?
They can't see. They don't know.
Oh, so in their hearts they've given it 3 stars.
In their hearts they wanted to give it 0, but
they want to give
it
0, exactly. So Parler's for everybody to express their opinion, unless
you're blind.
Unless you're blind.
Good luck.
Good luck. Yeah, I guess, Parler isn't for freedom of speech after all.
No, that person was oppressed.
That person was very oppressed. They couldn't get on their racist app. That's rough. That's real rough. Yeah. I think we're going to have to take some time to contemplate this person's
take
loss.
Take a breather.
Goodbye.
Whoa! Pump the brakes there, ladies and gentlemen. Don't skip over this. We want to talk about some friends of ours. Brooke and Julie of the Real Funny Stories podcast. They dig around the internet for crazy stuff just like we do. So let me talk about some of that crazy stuff. College students hold candlelight vigil for Taco Bell after it closes. Man wants to charge his girlfriend $24 a night when she sleeps over. Vegan bride banishes meat eaters from her wedding. Woman makes $60K a year selling her dirty underwear online. Can you imagine? Check out Brooke and Julie on the Real Funny Stories podcast, where they talk about the funniest news stories you probably missed. They scour the internet each week to find you the most hilarious, strange, and outlandish stories. Join them every Monday, that's the day before us, y'all, and prepare to laugh. Any platform you use, they are on it. Search for the Real Funny Stories podcast. It's a fun listen. They're like the friends of yours that got married, but they're still cool. If you want to learn about DQ, check them out too. Have fun, y'all. Hey, everybody. Thank you for listening to our lovely little podcast. If you'd like to go above and beyond in supporting our show, or have the most fabulous conversation starter since sliced bread, go to reviewparty.com. Click on shop and explore some fabulous t-shirt designs.
Where's your favorite place to wear a t-shirt?
On my body.
Mine is at the store.
That is a good place to wear a t-shirt. Reviewparty.com. Click shop.
Why stop there?
Don't stop now.
Don't stop me now, because I'm buying a t-shirt. I'm buying a shirt.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the second half of the episode, and welcome to Great Reviews of History. History. It seems like we're about to take another bend towards political. And I'm saying that because I know exactly what I'm going to do. Brent, have you ever heard of a play called Our American Cousin?
No, I don't think I have.
Our American Cousin was the play, in fact, that people are referring to when people ask, so other than that, how was the play, Mrs. Lincoln? So it's the play that President Lincoln was watching when he was assassinated.
When he got capped.
Yeah.
Is that disrespectful to say?
I don't know. It's in the past. I'll just get to the review. This was kind of tricky to find. I have here from 1861, the Athenaeum. The Athenaeum is a journal of arts and reviews going back, I guess, centuries, because this is from 1861, and there's reviews for plays and things in it. So here I have, it's London-based, so maybe I'll do an accent.
It's London, baby.
You can watch at Haymarket. A comedy which, it is stated, has been played 800 times in America and is attributed to the pen of Mr. Tom Taylor, was produced on Monday. It is entitled Our American Cousin, and it is in 3 acts. The character referred to in the title was acted by Mr. Buckstone, a Yankee rogue by name Asia Trenchard, and was as humorous as it was outrageous. Generous to the backbone, which, by the by, he speaks of as blushing all the way down, he uses no ceremony in accomplishing his ends by the readiest means, not shrinking either from theft or robbery. The scene is placed in England, but the free and easy manners portrayed can scarcely be accepted as representing any phase of English society, and considered in any way as intending anything of the kind. The picture is egregiously absurd. Utterly ridiculous as the whole affair certainly is, the reader will reasonably expect to know what can have led to its extraordinary success. A character, the extreme opposite to that of the unceremonious Yankee, is supplied by the author as an example of aristocratic manners and intelligence in the old country, in the person of an obtuse and harmless peer named Lord Dundreary. Whether this character by itself would sustain any degree of interest, we much doubt. But in the hands of Mr. Southern, the gentleman who has been acting it for so many hundred nights over the water, it is certainly the funniest thing in the world. The part is abstractedly a vile caricature of an inane nobleman, intentionally ignorant and extremely indolent. The notion once accepted by the audience that such an absurd animal could be the type of any class whatever, the actor was free to exaggerate to any extent the representation of the ridiculous. Mr. Southern, in the quietest way, takes full advantage of his position and effectually subdues the audience to his mood. Laughter, at all times irrepressible, finally culminates in a general convulsion, to which our ears seemed quite a peculiarity. It was so strange and yet so natural. The occasion was simply the reading of a letter from a brother in America, containing literally nothing more than that he feared a former letter had miscarried from his having forgotten to direct it. This, with certain inane comments on its contents, sufficed to enable Mr. Southern to produce the prodigious effect we have indicated. We are therefore disposed to believe that Mr. Southern, as an eccentric actor, is a man of no ordinary genius, and reasonably desire his further acquaintance. The public, we have no doubt, will be of the same opinion. Sounds like they're pretty much in love with this.
Yeah, at the beginning I was like, man, this guy hates it. And he's like, this is the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Turn around, yeah.
This shit's hilarious.
Yeah, it's like the most hilarious thing ever. And in looking for this, I mean, I knew the history of Ford's Theater. I knew Sic Semper Tyrannis. That's what John Wilkes Booth said. I guess I didn't know or forgot the details that, as an actor, John Wilkes Booth knew the show well enough to know when to wait for a laugh. And that's when he shot Lincoln. Like, he knew this is the biggest laugh in the show. This laughter will cover up a gunshot. Did you know this?
I didn't know that.
Little bit of a pawn for the review in your great reviews in history here. So yeah, it's a line that is kind of dated, but an old bag walks off and our main character is like, well, how do you do? Blah, blah, blah. And it's a big laugh line. And allegedly Lincoln was laughing too at the moment. And Wilkes is like, so much laughter. It'll cover up this gunshot. Bang, shoots him. But then he jumps on the stage anyway. Like,
that's
for
right.
all that planning, I knew you jumped on the stage. What sense does that make? You jump on the stage, you yell "Sic Semper Tyrannis."
With your busted leg.
With your leg, you just screwed up your leg, and you got to hobble away to your horse.
Man, that is strangely that strangely hits close to home with how the news has been lately.
Yeah,
and the Capitol and stuff. Those people are always idiots.
Yeah, you have what you think is a good plan, and then you're just this stupid bozo.
And then, you're just stupid bozo jumping off the balcony, breaking your leg, and yelling Latin at a bunch of people trying to enjoy a comedy show.
Yeah, it was kind of tragic reading about the actor who played the main character, because he was the only one on stage when it happened. And he turned around and sees John Wilkes Booth on the stage, who he knows as an actor. He recognizes him as a fellow actor, but he also just jumped onto stage and has a dagger. He's like, what's happening?
John's had a couple too many whiskeys again. A couple too many Worcestershire sauces.
He's taking our boy Abe out of the game too early.
That's right. R.I.P. to a real one.
Mm-hmm.
Pouring out for the old Abe. To bring us out of there. To bring us out of the past and into the now. Deliver us to the most modern place in the world. One of our favorite places to pick on in the Yelposphere. We're back to Tokyo, Japan, people. And you know we love it. This review is for Frijoles Roppongi. Frijoles is what was known to me and many other expats is the closest thing you can get to Chipotle in Tokyo.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Arthur N. of San Jose, California writes, I just cheated on Chipotle, and I'm not proud of it. This place is a cheap copy of Chipotle. In fact, it almost looks like part of the franchise. Was the food horrible? No, but it was only okay and not great. Much less than Chipotle grade. The burritos are minuscule if you're used to American-sized burritos. And they are about twice as expensive at their Chipotle counterpart at 2,400 yen for 2 burritos. It was such a blatant copy of Chipotle, the tables, the counters, the foil, the baskets, the extra 200 yen for guac, and I felt dirty after eating it. I'm sorry, Chipotle. I've misplaced my faith this time, but it won't happen again. 3 stars.
I honestly kind of feel dirty when I eat just Chipotle.
That's part of it, though, right?
Yeah.
You gotta feel a little dirty out. You gotta look at the remains, the naked foil with maybe a couple little pieces of corn and sour cream on it and go, what have I done?
Your steamy breath rises up into your eyes. Oh, you survey the damage.
So that guy was feeling that feeling as well as, this isn't even my love.
Yeah.
This is some cheap copy. His head in his hands quietly sobs to himself. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the baskets are little red baskets.
Okay.
what I remember seeing a little ad on the sign outside and thinking, I'm pretty sure that's just a Photoshop, and a Chipotle ad photoshopped to have Japanese writing on it. They really are so blatant about, we're just trying to be Chipotle.
We're just trying to be your friendly neighborhood Chipotle.
The friendly neighborhood Chipotle. And I loved it for it. If I see where this guy's coming from, it's kind of like there's a Culver's right next to a Wendy's where I live, and it's like you go to Wendy's and you got to look at Culver's on your way out of the drive-thru. you gotta look them in the eye and say,
You feel that in your body.
I just kind of felt like Wendy's. That's what you have to say every time. Sorry, I just kind of felt like having Wendy's. I know you guys are better and cheaper, but I just kind of wanted a baked potato.
Wendy's has got the potatoes. You can't get around that.
Yep, and Scoopy just stares out the window with his cold, dead eyes.
I hope he's cold. He's custard.
He's made of custard. If they're hot, dead eyes, he'd be a bowl of soup. A bowl of milk soup.
Oh, Scoopy.
Oh, Scoopy. Our non-Midwesterns may not know who Scoopy is. Culver's is sort of
very Midwestern.
Very Midwestern, very Wisconsin fast food joint. Butterburgers and cheese curds. And Scoopy is their mascot. Now, Scoopy is a, how would you say, cognizant ice cream cone?
Yeah.
A mortal.
He's a sentient.
A sentient ice cream cone.
Being.
And, he fears not death.
He fears no one.
He fears no man.
But truthfully, Culver's customer service is really good.
I would say I would agree. They are like Chick-fil-A, except they're not quite on that creepy level. They stopped before that hyper creepy.
They're not Stepford Wives polite.
Right.
Culver's is like, it's pouring rain outside. They've got an employee posted at the door to walk you to your car with an umbrella. That's the kind of service Culver's has. Chick-fil-A, I don't know. Their grins are pasted on.
Their grins are pasted. They get shot. They get shot on the spot if they don't smile. You ever seen that at a Chick-fil-A? Just an employee gets shot and dusted away unceremoniously. That's what the chicken is. Bad employees. That's why people love it so much.
That's why they're closed on Sundays. They got to process all that.
Yeah, they're not resting. That's not the day of rest, people. That's the day of breast. Chicken breast made from humans. I would not lie to you. Why would I lie?
Why would I make things up?
No. Podcast listener, why would I lie? We don't have a disclaimer at the beginning of the show saying not to listen to anything we say.
Wait, we're not comedy wizards hopped up on sugary cereals.
No, we're just a couple of guys trying to bring you the truth. This podcast is a beacon of the freedom of speech. All right, hold on, my tinfoil hat's falling off. Okay, this is a beacon of freedom of speech. All right, and we need you to know about our unresearched, what's it called when you don't have
unsupported, invalidated,
invalidated,
unsubstantiated,
unsubstantiated claims? You have to believe us.
I got a feeling about it.
Chick-fil-A's chicken is people.
Chick-fil-A chicken is people.
Is that your
Alex
Jones impression?
Yeah.
The chicken is people.
Just terrible raspiness. I haven't listened to it enough to.
I had 37 chicken sandwiches the other day, and I said to my wife, "Does this taste like people?"
I would eat my neighbor.
You kind of sound like an orc or something. I guess he is very orc-like.
He's got powerful thighs, I imagine.
Powerful? No, they're weak, sinewy, just lard-like. He has powerful thighs in the way that Jabba the Hutt has powerful thighs.
Okay, yeah.
They gotta be powerful to move that mass, but are they
can't.
Are they attractive? Are they something you should be pining after?
No.
His wife is on record for saying that he doesn't do anything except lay in their pool and eat cheeseburgers. That's the Alex Jones that we know and love.
You could have Butterburger instead, my man.
Butterburger instead. Listen, Wendy's is great, but Culver's is hometown.
Culver's is sweetness.
Sweetness. You got a sweet review for me?
I actually do. I have technically not a review. This is just a line of speech that I lifted from a fellow podcast. A podcast I'm trying to grow a little friendly with, if you know what I mean. A podcast by the name of the Grocery Gamblers podcast. They go to their local grocery store and find all the like seasonal items and the discounted limited run items, and they buy the stuff and eat it. And it's almost like they're reviewing in real time, because you can hear them eating and drinking the garbage that they get. And sometimes it's not garbage. Sometimes it's great.
You could say this is review or review adjacent content people, if you can believe it. They
got some fun stuff. So I've lifted a line from their episode 13, in which they were eating Alden's organic ice cream. And this is specifically on the dairy-free cookie crumble flavor. I'm going to have to talk to them about this. They hit up people, and people send them stuff for free. So we need to figure out how to do that.
Yeah, we got to have that sort of setup going.
So these are the words of Sean of the Grocery Gamblers podcast on the Alden's Organic Ice Cream Dairy-Free Cookie Crumble. Sean, you said it on your show, so I doubt you care. I'm saying it on ours. I have a bit of a history with IBS and irritable bowel syndrome for you non-abbreviating folk. And so it's like not quite lactose intolerance. I don't know what you never got it checked out because that's my style. I had to quit eating ice cream for like 10 years of my life. I could have like seriously one scoop and then it was a real gamble. Like it'd be something like, I'm not going anywhere for the next 12 hours. I can have one single solitary scoop of ice cream and hope it works out. And usually it didn't. And then, so like I've had a lot of like fake, ice creams throughout the years, and they're all bullshit. The only one I've ever come close to is like the coconut one was pretty good, but it's really coconutty. So it's like the chocolate is the only one that's kind of good. This is awesome. I really like it. This makes me like I ate it and I don't already have the guilt sweats coming on. The bubble gut and hot snakes are not forming in me right now. And that's as much as I transcribed of him talking about that.
Yeah, go listen to the episode if you want to hear more about that, which I probably will.
Yeah, it's fun to hear. I mean, it's like when you're sitting with your bros and, oh, smell that. Oh. And you just get to experience somebody else either suffering or having something good.
Oh, look at my bubble gut. I can say that. I can say that anytime. My gut always be bubbling.
I'm worried about this coming out the other end. So yeah, it sounds like, I'm all for
good.
Guilt-free treats. I might have to look up if we can get Alden's Organics out here and say, hey, we'd also like some for free.
My place of work has a ton of alternative ice creams, it being a bit of a health food store. So yeah, we got all kinds of that stuff. There's these, the ones I like, they're these chocolate dip bananas, frozen chocolate dip bananas. Ooh. Very simple. Everything natural. It's not very expensive. Mm-hmm. And yeah, you get that same ice cream bar satisfaction with none of the ridiculous caloric amounts.
So much less remorse.
And that's what we're here for. And we're gonna take all the remorse away from you listening to this free content that we supply you for free every week. And so you don't have any remorse about not getting anything back. You're gonna listen to these plugs, and that's your way of getting back to us. So you can have a guilt-free experience listening to this podcast. Pay it forward. So first, I'm gonna let you know new episodes of this shit every Tuesday morning. You can tune in Tuesday to wherever you get your podcast, and it'll be there, just sitting waiting for you to have a little listen. And I encourage you to do so. If you want to hang out with us on the show in a way, if you want to be hung out with in the virtual world and you don't even know that you're being hung out with until the episode drops, That's sort of wouldn't that sound like a fun, strange experience? What I'm trying to say is send us an email to a hyperlink to any weird reviews you find to reviewparty.com@gmail.com. Include your name so we can throw you credit. You can be like, wow, those people said my name.
Wow. If you want to hang out with us in a different digital virtual sense, you can follow us on Instagram @reviewparty.com or on Twitter @reviewpartypod. We're also on Reddit, I think, but whatever. Or you can go to reviewparty.com where you can find the episodes. You can find the blog where some people write some review-adjacent blog things. Always a good time. You can sign up for the After Party Review newsletter that says, "Hey, how's it going?" and tells you when things are happening. Or you can go to the shop where there are reviewparty.com merchandise things and also crazy Amazon products as featured on reviewparty.com, the podcast experience.
The podcast experience. I like the sound of that. And if you
Speaking
want
of podcasts,
speaking of podcasts,
remember, go check out Real Funny Stories podcast and the Grocery Gamblers if you're in the mood for a little tickle.
if you want some tickle, there's some extra tickles this week out there for sure.
They both tickled me today.
And if you like tickling your friends, why don't you let your friends know about the podcast? Reviewparty.com. Say, hey, do you like reviewparty.com? And they say, I don't know, I haven't heard of it. And then you make them listen to it. At gunpoint. If you guys are into that thing, I imagine you're not, so probably not. Anyway, yeah,
I'm into racism, and I'm into bigotry, I'm into holding my friends at gunpoint. You know, to each their own.
That's sort of Parler things. I guess that's not really a reviewparty.com thing. We should get on
right.
Parler. I'm sure there's lots of people that want to listen to us there.
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of people that listen to us, hey, Nosebleeds, thanks for listening, dudes. You can hear their jam read for breakfast throughout this episode. You might have heard it and not even known, but the real ones knew. And you can find more of their great tunes on Spotify. Nosebleeds, just one word. Search for that shit. I got a review. Oh, this review is going to bring you back. Maybe just to this morning, knowing you.
Okay.
This is a review for a 2-pack of Honey Nut Scooter's breakfast cereal.
I had Eggos, but yeah.
This review is from Amazon, is written by Richard Propopchuk. Richard Propopchuk. He titles it, They're Good Snacks. Richard writes, nothing special, just my favorite cereal. 5 stars.
Don't be so humble about it, Richard. They're your favorite.
Thanks for listening, everybody. I'm Brent.
I'm Matt.
And take it easy out there, folks.